Alright guys, tonight we're going to talk about some different shapes that we talk about in 4th grade, because y'all have already learned, your basic shapes, your rectangle, square, trapezoid, circle, all that business. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into different types of two things, quadrilaterals and triangles, okay? So first thing I want you to do is in the middle of your page, make sure it doesn't take up the whole page. Watch how big I draw mine and then draw yours. I'm going to draw a really tall trapezoid. So look at how much of the page it takes up, okay, and draw it that big. We are going to do more with this shape tomorrow, but I just want to make sure that we have room for it, okay? And it's really important that you draw the next shapes really the same size that I do, okay? So first one is this right here. All the sides of this triangle are the same size, same length, okay? Do another one over here. Okay. And another one, let's do down here. Okay. All right, so what do you notice? What are all these shapes? They're all different kinds of what? Triangles, right? They're all different kinds of triangles. So we're going to talk about what makes these different kinds of triangles special. So what do you notice is here in this little corner over here? Well, there's a little box, right? What does that little box normally mean? We talked about it today in class. It means that that is a what kind of angle? A right angle, right? Okay, so so this becomes a right triangle. Isn't that nifty? So I'm going to write down here, actually I'm going to write really small next to it, right triangle. It's important that you write it really small because we're going to get a lot on this page. Okay? Right triangle. Over here, this one, what do you notice about all of these angles on this triangle? They're all what kind of angles? Acute angles. So what kind of triangle do you think this is? Well, how about an acute triangle? So I'm going to write it on the outside. So remember, really small. Acute triangle. All right. And lastly, we have this one right here. What do you notice about this angle right here? What kind of angle is it? An obtuse angle. So what do you think this kind of triangle is called? How about an obtuse triangle? Obtuse triangle. Right? Okay. We're going to talk more about what kind of features, or in geometry we call them attributes. Attributes is the same thing as, things that make that kind of shape special. So like one of my attributes is that I have really colorful journal entries. I'm really good at colorful journal entries. Okay? So that's one of my attributes. One of Amy's attributes is that she's really funny. Okay? So everybody has different attributes. Every shape has different attributes. Okay? So those are 3 of the triangles we're going to talk about. We'll talk more about them tomorrow. The other kind of shape we're talking about is quadrilaterals. I want you to think back way deep in your brain, way back in the beginning of the year. We talked about what the root word quad means. So whenever I see the root quad in a word, it usually means what? It means 4. It means 4, right? So what do you think quadrilaterals are going to have? They're going to have 4 sides, okay? So I want you to draw one shape right here. Okay? I want you to draw something else over here. Oops, got a little off right there. I want you to draw something else right up here. Okay? I want you to draw something else over here. All right? And finally, one more thing right here. Okay? So those are the 5 different quadrilaterals we talk about. I want you to see if you can recognize any of them. Take a look. Do you recognize any of them? All right. So what do you think this is? What is this called? Square. Square. What about this bad boy? How about a rectangle? Rectangle. All right, what about this? Ooh, these are, we'll come back to these in a second. What is this shape called? A trapezoid. Trapezoid. Okay, so these shapes look very similar. Let me make this one a little bit better because it's a little bit uneven. Okay, better. All right, so they both are like slanted, right? It's kind of like we took the top of a rectangle and we just kind of pushed it that way, right? So both of these are types of parallelograms. What does that word parallel mean? You just learned it in your other journal entry. It means that the lines are never going to intersect, right? They are always going to be the same distance apart from one another. So they're both parallelograms, but this one is a special kind of parallelogram. So let's go ahead and label this one parallelogram. P-A-R-A-L-L, like parallel lines. E-L-O-G-R-A-M. Okay? All right. So this is a special kind of parallelogram. It might help if I turn it like this. Does that look familiar to you? Maybe a rhombus. Rhombus is spelled weird. R-H-O-M-B-U-S. A rhombus is a special type of parallelogram that is similar to how a square relates to a rectangle. So a square is an example of a rectangle. However, squares are unique because why? Because they all have this, because their sides are all the same length, right? Just like a square is related to a rectangle in that way, a rhombus is related to a parallelogram in that way. So a rhombus is an example of a parallelogram, but all of its sides are the same length. Okay? One more thing I want you to put on here is something they're called tick marks. Okay? They're called tick marks. Tick marks tell us which sides are the same length. Okay? So in a rectangle, this side is the exact same length as this side, or it could mean this is parallel to this, just like this side is parallel to this side. The reason we do 2 on these is to show that these 2 are the ones that are parallel, these 2 are the ones that are parallel. Okay? If we just had 1, 2, 3, and 4, that would mean they were all parallel. Well, we know that that's not true, right? Okay? Same thing over down here. Well, on a square, we know that they're all the same size. So that's why we have 1 tick mark for all of them. Same on a rhombus. 1 on all of them shows that they have equal side lengths. Parallelogram, same as a rectangle where these 2 sides are equal in length and these 2 sides are equal in length. That's why we do 2 on the sides for that. Okay? We're going to learn a whole lot more about these tomorrow. Don't draw anything in here. I'll give you a hint. Okay, I'll